It was one of those games. I mean, that was 1 in 1,000 there. I mean, I haven't been a part of too many like that. Either way, on the good side or the bad side now. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about that one.
Well, it's Arkansas baseball coach Dave Van Horn left pretty speechless after their 26-14. Yes, that's right, 26-14 loss on Saturday night against Georgia. Welcome into Luttie's Look Back. My name is Nick Luttrell. We've got that to break down on today's show. Plus, we'll talk a lot more baseball, and then at the end of the show, we'll talk a little bit of basketball. Tell you what's going on in the Arkansas basketball transfer portal. But we'll start my show how we always do with my three big things from the big thing from the weekend, which was the Arkansas baseball series against Georgia. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a win on Thursday, a complete team win on Thursday, a 6-3 win, followed by a 5-3 loss on Friday, and then 26-14 loss on Saturday. So you see the three big things behind me. The first one, the 26-14 game, I don't think is indicative of this season, of what's gone on this season for the Razorbacks. It hasn't been an amazing season, but it's not like we're just going to throw this season away because they got 26 runs put up on them against one of the best teams, if not the best team offensively in the country. The second big thing, Saturday's game, when Arkansas got destroyed 26-14, when Georgia put up 26 runs on Arkansas, it showed how good Hunter Dietz is, which is Arkansas's game one starter. And I'll talk about that in a second. And then finally, going forward, fix the things that are fixable. And I'll talk about that in a second. Let's swing back to my first point. The 26-14 game. That's kind of what this whole conversation for this next 10 minutes I'm about to rant about is about. Arkansas lost 26-14 on Saturday night at home. It's frustrating. It is. It's disappointing. It's discouraging. It's all the things that you guys online are saying if you're a big avid Razorback baseball fan. If you're not and you're just have THV 11 Plus on your TV the whole day, welcome in. We talk about sports. I'll try to make it simplified if you don't know anything about sports. 26 runs is a lot. Normally you say a baseball score, it's like 8-3. I mean, you saw the first two games for Arkansas, 6-3 win, 5-3 loss. 26 runs is crazy. I mean, Georgia put up 11 of them in the ninth inning when Arkansas said, okay, we're kind of giving up. We're going to throw in this freshman pitcher who's barely played this season and let him have a go. All right, Georgia just hit a grand slam. Okay, we have no pitchers left. We're going to get a freshman shortstop. This is what they did to end this game. A freshman shortstop who's never pitched an inning or a throw in his life in college baseball on the mound because he's an infielder. And in high school, he was an infielder. And I'm sure he might have pitched a little bit in high school because he was probably the best player on the team, Carson Brumbaugh. But they put him in because they didn't have anybody else. And that's never a good sign when you have to throw a guy onto the pitching mound that's not a pitcher. You see that every now and then in the MLB, but you don't see that in college baseball. At least I haven't. I've never seen that in college baseball, especially the Arkansas Razorbacks, a team that is a program that is so good, that they've been so good all season, or they've been so good for so long. Now, they haven't had that national championship, but they've been good, right? And just to see that is just kind of crazy, honestly. But anyway, that game, and I'm probably going to rant about that game more times throughout our show here, that game is still not indicative of the season. A lot of Razorback fans might see that and start to worry, start to panic. Worry, I think, is maybe granted. That maybe is okay. Panicking, I'm not panicking a ton on this, on what's going on with Arkansas baseball. I know they lost 26-14. I understand that. But if you just look at the score, it might have been a little closer at times. And I'm not trying to defend them too much here, but really, all I'm trying to say is let's not overreact for one game, for really one inning. I mean, Arkansas probably was going to lose this game by 6 runs or 7 runs, and Georgia's going to have a good offensive performance. And then they just kind of let go of the rope in the ninth inning. That's different a little bit in college baseball than it is like basketball or football. Baseball, you can just put some guys out there and say, okay, we're going to save his arm to pitch against Missouri State on Tuesday. I don't know if that happens a ton in basketball. Maybe a little bit. You think of Arkansas's game against Florida a few months ago where they just got destroyed and they kind of just put in some bench warmers there at the end. Maybe that's what what the equivalent is to this game, but this team is still a really good team. And I know they didn't show it in this game, especially pitching and fielding. They had 6 errors in this game. That's the most errors they've tied for the most errors they've ever had in program history, I think, or maybe in Dave Van Horn's tenure. I can't remember. And he's been at the helm for 24 years, I think 24. So they're still a good team. They didn't show it. They didn't show it on Saturday. They showed it on Thursday, a complete game, a complete team effort win on Thursday. And they've shown it at times this season. They have the playmakers, they have the stars to make a run, to be the best team in the country, but they didn't show it in this game. And that's okay. You're gonna have off games. You're gonna have an inning when maybe you're not gonna have. I'm just trying to defend them a little bit more than maybe people are doing right now. Are they an amazing team that I have full confidence in that's going to go to Omaha? No. If I could predict it right now, I'm going to say they lose in the regionals or in the super regionals. And that's disappointing because this team should be better. And maybe they'll get there. Maybe they will. But right now, mid-April, 2 months left in the season. As far as 2 months, that includes postseason and trying to make a postseason run. I don't see it happening. But that's my first big point. The second big point is something a little bit more specific to the weekend. Saturday's game, it showed how good Hunter Dietz is. Georgia has the best offense in the country. I'm very confident in saying that. They have the best home run hitting team in the country as well. It also helped. I will add this small note on Saturday. I wasn't there, but you could see, and the commentators talked about the wind. The wind was just pushing balls out on Saturday. The wind affects baseball games a lot. And it certainly did in this game. That's also why Arkansas scored 14 runs, too. And Georgia scored 26. So you like the offensive effort, don't like the pitching effort from the Razorbacks, but the wind kind of pushed some balls out. But it also just showed you guys how good Georgia is. They put up 26 runs against Arkansas. Arkansas is not a bad team. They didn't perform amazingly, but they're not a bad team. And Georgia showed how good they are offensively on Saturday, which brought me back to what I was thinking about Thursday night. I was just so impressed with the pitching performance from the Razorbacks on Thursday night. It gave me so much confidence. I was like, can they really hold Georgia down for all 3 games of this series? The answer was no, because Georgia put up 26 runs on Saturday, if you missed my point here. But leading the pitching charge on Thursday was Hunter Dietz, Arkansas's starting pitcher, a guy who I think was the Game 2 starter for a while this season. Then a couple weeks ago, he got promoted to the Game 1. He's their ace. And he performed like it. 5 1/3 innings pitched, only gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Those numbers aren't flashy. They aren't amazing. But against Georgia, they are pretty good. And that, after what Georgia did Saturday, it really impressed me what Hunter Dietz did on Thursday night. So I hope Dietz can continue that effort because this team still has a lot of really good things going about them, and one of them is Hunter Dietz. My final big point of my 3 big things is you got to fix the things that are fixable. Fix the things that are fixable. The things that are fixable are the errors. Arkansas, again, we're really critiquing this Saturday game. Arkansas, in their 26-14 loss on Saturday against Georgia, they had 6 errors. They've had 6 errors in a game, as I think I mentioned earlier, since 2014, 2012, 2016, somewhere around there. It's been a while since they've had that many errors in one game. That's really bad. Non-baseball fans out there, the first 2 games of this series, they had no errors. They had no mess-ups. They had 6 big ones in this game. So you can blame it on pitching. I understand that you can blame it on pitching for the series loss, for the loss on Saturday night. But I don't know how fixable that is compared to just fielding a little bit better, being a little bit more locked in. Now, pitching, yes, can get better, but the wind was blowing out, so I give a couple of those home runs to the wind just blowing out and to playing Georgia. But what doesn't matter against whoever you're playing is the errors. Like pitching, you got to bring your mindset, okay, this guy's really good. I'm going to pitch him to the left corner because he's not very good there, or I'm going to pitch him some high fastballs or something in the dirt because he swings a lot at those. You have a mindset going into every player that steps up to the plate, you do something differently. So that's gonna change and fixate. What you have to do a good job of, regardless of the opponent, is these simple, fundamental things that Arkansas struggled with in this game and has struggled with at times this season. They just haven't been as pinpoint accurate as they have been in the past. And maybe we got too spoiled with how good last year's team was. We probably did. That was a team that should have won the national championship. They should have done it. Or they at least should have pushed LSU to another game. We won't talk about that right now. But 6 errors is unacceptable. You had 0 in the first 2 games. You've done decent this season. But 6 errors is something you have to fix, and you have to fix it now. I don't know what you need to change, if you need to get someone else in there to field better than Cam Kojal. But then he loses his bat. It's like, what do you do? Arkansas should be performing better than they are right now. They have the potential to be better, and they're just not. And that's what makes it frustrating. And that's kind of the similar thing we've talked about with basketball, too. They had the potential, but they struggled at times in the season. And that's sports, man. Like, that's sports. That's going to happen. Now, 26 runs, that's not going to happen very often. As Coach Van Horn said to begin the show, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. But underperforming is something that I think we're just used to seeing for Razorback fans. High expectations and just underperforming. And unfortunately, that's what's happened for the majority of this season. So a disappointing series, maybe some positivity going forward. Here's what head coach Dave Van Horn had to say about the learning opportunities from this series.
Well, you just got to learn from it. That's what I told them. And, said a few other things about the game, but, you learn from it. You learn, everything matters. Everything matters. You don't make a play here. You don't make a pitch here. It all starts to add up, and it might not get you in this inning, but it's going to get you if you keep doing it.
All right, let's move on to look forward just for a moment here before we move on to softball. Let's talk briefly about what Arkansas has going forward. I mentioned there's 2 months in total. If you want to include Arkansas making a postseason run, there's 2 months left of baseball. If not, you got about a month left of baseball. And you see here behind me the 4 games left that Arkansas has. They go to Missouri this upcoming weekend. This is the 4 series, I should say, in SEC play. They've got Missouri State coming up on Tuesday night, but we're kind of scrapping that, just looking on to the SEC series that Arkansas has. Missouri on the road. Then you got Oklahoma at home. That's a top 15 ranked Oklahoma team. Then you go to Kentucky. Then you come back home and play Ole Miss. So kind of back and forth there. Thankfully, they've got the better opponents at home. So hopefully you have the advantage there to win those series. And then you go to Missouri, which Arkansas should sweep Missouri. When I talked about this last week, I said Arkansas just needs to get 1 from Georgia. And they did. It would have been awesome to have 2. But they just got 1. I think my prediction was them losing 2 and winning 1. My prediction for this Missouri game, you sweep. You win all 3 games. Missouri's the worst team in the SEC. They've been that way since they moved to the SEC, I'm pretty sure. They're not a baseball program. And if Arkansas loses even 1 game, even by 1 run, even if it's something silly in the end to Missouri, then yes, you can panic. You can panic if that happens. But don't do it yet. Let's see what this team is made of. Let's see if this team can have some resiliency to come back and to put together some more wins, to kind of get back to it. Because they were riding high, especially after that Thursday night win against Georgia. They were one of the hottest teams in the country in the SEC. And then they lost back-to-back games, including a 26 run. They gave up 26 runs to Georgia, and it was bad. Now let's see if that makes them lay down and be deflated the rest of the year in these next 4 series. Or let's see if they come back and they say, that's not us. We are better than that. And they should show it by taking down a team that they're way better than in the Missouri Tigers. So hopefully they do that this upcoming weekend. After that, they come back home to Oklahoma. I think they win 2 of 3 against Oklahoma. Go to Kentucky. I think they win 2 of 3 against Kentucky. Back at home against Ole Miss. I say they get swept against Ole Miss. That's just my prediction. They're kind of riding high just like they have been. It's just been an up-and-down season. So you sweep Missouri. You win the series against Oklahoma. You win the series against Kentucky. And then you get swept against Ole Miss heading into the SEC tournament. And then you win 1, lose 2 in the SEC tournament, and then lose in the regional. That's my prediction. What is it, April 20-something? Where's my phone? April 19th. It is April 19th. This will be airing on April 20th. But April 20th, there's my little prediction of how the rest of the season is going to go for the Razorbacks. Losing at home in their home regional. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but that's kind of my instinct of what's going to happen right now. All right, let's forget baseball. Let's move on to softball. A team that has shown that they're better this season, but they did go on the road and lose a series to Oklahoma. It's the #1 team in the country, guys. I know Georgia's the #5 team in the country, but softball, the gap between Arkansas softball and some of these incredible teams like Oklahoma and Texas, and maybe you can throw in Texas Tech. I feel like there's one more that's been a powerhouse. Maybe UCLA has been good. The gap is pretty big. And Arkansas has narrowed that gap in the Courtney Deifel era, so well done to them. Because you know what? They've got a green box. I've got a green box right here behind me, and that's a really good sign. Because that green box is the first time that Arkansas has taken down a #1 team in the country since 2012. It's been 14 years since Arkansas has done what they did on Saturday night in Norman, and it was an awesome performance. Yes, they lost the series, so we'll talk about Friday's game. An 8-7 loss, real competitive. They were right there. There was this much of a gap between these two teams on Friday, and then they were better than Oklahoma. They were better than Oklahoma on Saturday, and then on Sunday, Oklahoma was like, "Yeah, but we're Oklahoma, and this is what we do. We hit like 5 home runs like that," and that's what they did. That's what they did on Saturday. Friday, they kept it competitive. Arkansas was actually up 4-0 in the third. Oklahoma hits a grand slam in the bottom of the third, tie it up. Arkansas responded, so give them credit for responding. They cut it down to 1. It was 8-7 in the bottom of the 7th inning, 1 out away from losing. They got a runner on second, and they grounded out. So they were close. They almost fought back, but they lost that one. Dakota Kennedy was injured in that game. She did not play Saturday and Sunday. I don't know her availability. She's been top 3 player for Arkansas this season, so hopefully she's okay. Saturday, a great win, 3-2. Maybe hitting wasn't amazing, but a great clutch 2-run home run by Tiana Bell, and then pitching was awesome. Peyton Burnham, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, only gave up 2 runs, which were just 2 solo home runs, so you'll allow that against Oklahoma, only 2 runs. 3 strikeouts, no walks. And then she was starting to trail off a little bit towards the end. They brought in Robin Heron, their ace from Friday night. She came back again on Saturday, inning and 2/3 pitched. She only had 5 at-bats. She struck out 2 of those 5. No hits, no walks, no runs. She dominated the Sooners when she was in the circle, and it was awesome. It was awesome. It's a good day anytime Oklahoma loses, and that was a good day on Saturday night when Arkansas got the win there. Followed it up with an 11-1 loss. Arkansas was just dominated. I think Oklahoma just had like 5 home runs, and they were probably a little mad from what happened the previous night, because it was the first time they had lost at home in a while. It had been a while, maybe a dozen or 2 games since they had lost at home. So they're not used to it, especially not losing series, and they didn't lose the series against the Razorbacks. Arkansas hitting was good. They had 6 hits. Oklahoma had 9, and so the runs weren't reflective of how maybe closer this game was. It's just Arkansas didn't have the home runs that Oklahoma did, and Arkansas didn't take advantage of the runners they had on base. They got active on the base paths. They got some hits, but they never hit that home run that Oklahoma always had. So that's the step of growth you want to see in this team going forward. But they're still a great team. A series loss, but 1 win against the #1 team in the country, that's good. And that's maybe not all you can ask for, but that's really impressive out of Coach Deifel and this Arkansas team with, I think, two or 3 SEC series left before the end of the regular season. All right, let's now look at some other baseball from this past weekend in the Natural State. We've got Little Rock, UCA, Arkansas State, and UAPB. Anytime we have more green than red on this screen, it's a good thing. And this might be a record. We'll look back at this show and think, man, remember that time when we had almost all green out of the 3, 6, 9, 12 games that we have? That's a good day. And it was a good weekend for all of our teams. Let's start quickly. Little Rock, now first, tied for first in the OVC. Previously, it was Eastern Illinois. But the Trojans showed them what was up this past weekend at Gary Hogan Field. A 7-6 win Friday night, 11-7 on Saturday, and then dominating on Sunday, 11-1. They're now 11-4 in the OVC, as I mentioned, tied for first place. UCA, also a sweep, but it was against the worst team in the Atlantic Sun Conference. 12-2 That was a, what should I say? That was a 12-2 win on Friday night. That was a run rule victory is what I was looking for in the 7th inning. It only went 7 innings. Saturday, 8-2 win. And then Sunday, 9-6 win. That's a fun one. Including, that 9-6 win included a Zeb Allen grand slam. So I think he's only one home run away from tying the single season record at UCA. He has the career record, which is really impressive. They are 10-8 in the A-Sun, which is much improved to where they were last season, if I remember correctly. Arkansas State, they're 500 in their conference, a 3-2 win over Louisiana Monroe on Friday night, a 3-2 loss on Saturday, and then they come back Sunday, a good bounce-back win, a good road series win over Louisiana Monroe. And then finally, UAPB, Texas Southern, one of the best teams in their conference. And UAPB getting the win. I think I might have messed that one up. I think they did win. They did win 6-4. Just need to flip those scores. They did win 6-4 against Texas Southern on Friday, lost it in a close one on Saturday, and then got the win in walk-off fashion on Sunday. And I should mention that that red loss was a doubleheader, so both those games on the bottom two for UAPB was played on Sunday. So there it is, all the green, and that's what you want to see for all of our Arkansas teams that are non-Razorbacks. All right, let's have baseball. Let's do basketball. You guys remember this chart from last year? Let's talk about it. Arkansas basketball, it's been a month now since the season ended, somewhere around there. And now it's all looking ahead to what's next. If you're not familiar, a lot changes in the off seasons for Razorbacks. So let's talk about it real quickly here. We got departing, returning, and incoming. We're departing, returning, incoming for the Razorback basketball team. Out of eligibility, Trevin Brazil, Nick Pringle. Guys who have entered the draft, Carter Knox, he's off to Louisville. DJ Wagner, he's off to Maryland. Elmer Josic, I think is how you pronounce it, is in the portal. Kareem Rattel is in the portal. Malik Thomas went to the NBA draft, has declared for the NBA draft, but with the opportunity to come back. So he's kind of testing the waters. If he gets some people saying, hey, you could be a first-round pick, then he'll probably go. If he gets some people saying, hey, you might be a late second-round pick, then he'll probably come back. I hope for him that he comes back. I think just another season of development would be awesome, but also he's going to do great in the NBA if it's his time, and it might be his time. Returning for the Razorbacks, two confirmed from this past week, Paulo Semedo, a 7-1 center that just didn't play at all last year. Maybe he's utilized this year. If Arkansas doesn't get more big men in the portal, maybe he is. Isaiah Seeley, the Springdale native, and then unconfirmed returner, so we don't really know. We haven't heard on any of these guys. Billy Richmond, man, would love to have him back. Malik Ewan got an asterisk there because we're not sure, or I'm not sure, I should say, if he has any eligibility left. I think he's maybe trying to get a 5th year of eligibility to come back and play for the Razorbacks would be my thought. That would be huge. Don't know if it's going to happen. Darius Acuff, he hasn't officially announced he's entering the transfer, or he's declaring for the NBA draft, but he's going to be a top 5 pick. So you'd think he's going to do that, and maybe it's just so obvious that I should move him into the portal that says draft, but I'm just kind of waiting for an official announcement. Then 3 other guys at the bottom of your screen there, unconfirmed, that are bench warmers that don't matter. The freshmen coming in, J.J. Andrews, Abdou Toure, Jordan Smith Jr., those guys are going to be awesome. Can't wait for them. And then transfer portal. I think both these two happened in the past week since our last show. Cooper Bowser, a big man, Furman transfer, and then Jeremiah Wilkinson, a huge pickup. Arkansas is going to have some of the best guards in the country next season, especially if they were to get Malik Thomas back. But with Isaiah Seeley and with a freshman coming in, Jordan Smith Jr., the top guard in the country, and then now you got Jeremiah Wilkinson, a guy who has a little bit more not versatility, a little more durability. A better presence for this Arkansas team. He's just an older presence as Arkansas is going to need. He's got 2 years under his belt. One of them this past year at Georgia. He was a top 10 scorer in the SEC. So that's a huge portal get for the Razorbacks. But we'll keep you updated on how this all goes for the transfer portal for the Hogs going forward. All right, let's move on to my Luttie's Legend of the Week. Let's go back to the baseball world. And I'll hand it off to a guy that, hasn't been amazing this season, but he's been one of the best players on Arkansas's team. And I think he's one of 2 players to bat over 300. And he batted 500 this weekend. His name is Damian Ruiz. He had that 5 or 6 game stretch where he was out with an injury. He's come back better than ever, honestly. He was 5 for 10 this weekend, 7 RBIs. And I know they had the big kind of game on Saturday. They did the offense when they scored 14 runs, but he really performed well and had some big clutch hits, especially on Thursday and Friday. So congrats to Damian Ruiz, my Lutties legend of the week. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Lutties Look Back. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. We'll see you guys same time, same place next week.